The Thucydides Trap, when giants collide. In the 5th century BCE, the Greek historian Thucydides observed something profound about human nature and power. Writing about the catastrophic Peloponnesian War that tore ancient Greece apart, he concluded, "It was the rise of Athens and the fear that this instilled in Sparta that made war inevitable." 25 centuries later, this observation would inspire a modern theory that haunts the corridors of power in Washington, Beijing, and capitals around the world. The birth of a concept Harvard political scientist Graham Allison didn't set out to predict World War III. In the early 2010s, he was studying historical patterns of conflict between great powers. What he discovered was chilling. Over the past 500 years, in 16 cases where a rising power threatened to displace a ruling power, 12 ended in war. Allison called this phenomenon the Thucydides Trap, a deadly pattern where the anxiety and structural stress caused by a power transition makes violent conflict the likely outcome, even when neither side wants war. It's not destiny, he argued, but it is dangerous. The ancient template. To understand the trap, we must return to ancient Greece. By 450 BCE, Athens had transformed from a modest city-state into a maritime empire. Its navy dominated the Aegean Sea. Its culture flourished. Its democracy inspired and threatened in equal measure. Athens was dynamic, innovative, and ambitious. Sparta, by contrast, was the old guard, a militaristic land power that had long been Greece's dominant force. Spartan warriors were legendary. Their society was rigid, conservative, and suspicious of change. As Athens grew stronger, Sparta grew fearful. Every Athenian success felt like a Spartan loss. Every new Athenian ally seemed like a threat to Spartan security. The two powers found themselves locked in a security dilemma. Actions taken for defense appeared aggressive to the other side. Diplomacy faltered. Alliances hardened. Minor disputes between their respective allies escalated. In 431 BCE, war erupted, a brutal decades-long conflict that devastated Greece and ended the golden age of both powers. Neither truly won. Both were permanently weakened. The pattern repeats. History is littered with similar tragedies. When Spain rose to challenge Portuguese dominance in the 15th century, conflict followed. When France under Louis XIV and later Napoleon threatened the European order, coalitions formed to wage war. When Germany emerged as an industrial powerhouse in the late 19th century, challenging British supremacy, the result was 2 world wars that killed tens of millions. Not every case ended in bloodshed. The United States peacefully overtook Britain as the world's leading power in the early 20th century, though even this transition involved considerable tension and occurred between nations with deep cultural and political ties, the modern dilemma. Today, the Thucydides Trap casts its shadow over the relationship between the United States and China. For 70 years, America has been the undisputed global superpower, the architect and guarantor of the international order. Its military reaches every ocean. Its dollar dominates global finance. Its technology companies shape how billions communicate. But China has risen with breathtaking speed. In 1980, its economy was smaller than Italy's. Today, it's the world's second largest economy and by some measures already the largest. China builds more ships, produces more steel, and graduates more engineers than any nation on Earth. It's asserting claims in the South China Sea, building military bases abroad, and offering an alternative model of development to the world. The structural stress is palpable. American policymakers see Chinese ambition as a threat to the rules-based order. Chinese leaders view American power as an obstacle to their rightful place in the world. Trade disputes escalate into technology wars. Military exercises become more frequent and more provocative. Allies are pressured to choose sides. Each side believes it's acting defensively. Each side sees the other as aggressive. The security dilemma tightens. The psychology of the trap. What makes the Thucydides trap so dangerous isn't just material interests, it's psychology. The established power experience is what psychologists call loss aversion. Losing status hurts more than gaining it feels good. Even a relative decline feels like humiliation, triggering defensive and sometimes reckless responses. The rising power, meanwhile, experiences what might be called recognition hunger. After years of being dismissed or constrained, it demands respect and accommodation. Old rules seem designed to preserve the advantages of yesterday's winners. Patience wears thin. Both sides become hypersensitive to slights. Domestic politics reward toughness and punish compromise. Hawks gain influence. Moderates are sidelined as naive. The space for diplomacy shrinks. Can the trap be escaped? Allison's research offers both warning and hope. Yes, war is the most common outcome, but not the only one. 4 times in history, rising and ruling powers navigated the transition peacefully. Escape requires extraordinary leadership and wisdom. It demands that the established power make space for the rising power, accepting that some loss of relative status is inevitable and manageable. It requires the rising power to show restraint, recognizing that revolutionary change threatens stability and invites backlash. Both sides must build trust through transparent communication, establish mechanisms to manage crises before they spiral, and find areas of genuine cooperation that create shared interests in peace. Most importantly, leaders must resist the seductive logic of preventive action, the temptation to fight today rather than face a stronger adversary tomorrow. This logic has launched countless unnecessary wars. The stakes today. We live in the shadow of the Thucydides Trap. The U.S. China relationship will likely define the 21st century. Unlike Athens and Sparta, these powers possess nuclear weapons. Unlike past rivals, they're economically interdependent. Their conflict, should it come, would be catastrophic beyond historical precedent. The trap is not destiny. It's a warning, a pattern we can choose to break. But breaking it requires acknowledging the danger, understanding the dynamics, and summoning the courage to act differently than our predecessors. Thucydides wrote his history. He said, as a possession for all time, a guide for future generations facing similar challenges. 25 centuries later, his warning has never been more relevant. The question is whether we're wise enough to heed it.